Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS. In today's video, we'll be looking into the social and economic aspects of your Pandyan dynasty. Alright, let's get into the video. Now, before we begin, how was the social set? At that point of time, basically the society operated on your typical Varnashrama. What is Varnashrama? Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Right? Varnashrama was seen and evident in the Pandyan kingdom. Okay. Now, along with Varnashrama, there also was something called as caste system. Right. That is, in Vaishyas itself, there will be many subcastes. Right. In Shudras itself, there will be many subcastes. Kshatriyas itself, many subcastes. Okay. So, there are many subcastes in all of the Varna system. Right. But one thing is, it was not as rigid as in later times. What do I mean by this? For example, there was no such clear distinction that particular person of one caste cannot marry the person. Okay. Generally, do you think they considered it's not good to marry? Yes. General assumption was there, but there was no such strict adherence as to this person belonging to this particular caste cannot marry the person belonging to some other caste at all. Okay. That is called as rigid. Okay, a rigid caste system was not followed, okay, with respect to Pandyan dynasty. Okay, it was there, it was prevalent. Okay, large instances of people marrying in the same caste is also seen, but it was not as rigid as it comes to later time. Also, okay, here more of a person was valued, okay, not just based on the particular caste system or subcaste system he belonged to, but rather on the occupation he did. Right? Like I said, there were multiple subcastes. Here again, subcastes, when I say Vaishyas means, it doesn't mean that they will be either only farmers. Okay, there are multiple other things within farming itself. The occupation itself is different. With farming, there is no just one occupation, right? The multiple subparts in farming, just a collective umbrella of farming doesn't mean all of them are farmers, right? Farming, there are different units, right? So there are different activities to take place. In that, whoever was having whichever job, the respect for that person was based on that job. So here, the respect for a person was not just based on the caste he was born to, but on the occupation he chose to do. Alright. So typical Varnashrama was followed. There was caste system, but that caste system was not rigid, and that, okay, rigidity of caste system did not affect the society as well. Okay, it was not clearly distinguished that this person cannot marry that person. Alright, even though generally it was observed that way. Alright, one thing. Second thing, occupation played a very important role here. Alright, person of particular occupation was given the respect, money, societal status, all based on that. Alright, clear on this? Next. See, the fourfold division is nothing but your Varna system. Okay, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but along with that there were other occupations or other castes also in the name of welder, iyer, edier and all. Alright, what are these castes? What are those castes based on occupations? Alright, clear? Now, again as we said, caste system was not rigid. Respect was not on the caste but on the occupation. Clear on this, right? Sense of unity among the people, village assemblies were running smoothly. We've seen the administration part of the videos, okay, for which we have already did a video, and the link for the video is down in the description. Please do have a look. Right, see, people came from different communities, people came from different occupations, right, but they all bonded and joined over one thing. Okay, their king was Pandyas, they were Pandyan people. Okay, they had similar set of culture, similar set of values, similar society. How? Because they had a sense of unity, right? How? Again, we've spoken in administration. Do have a look at that video. Alright, what was the lifestyle of the people living in this period of time? Okay, see, any part of society, if you look at it, there are clear economic distinctions. That is when you say rich, poor. What is one distinction between rich and poor? Now, if I have to call someone rich and someone poor, what do you think will be one main attribute I'll use it? Economy, right? This person has more wealth, this person has less wealth. Why is this important with respect to determining the social status of this person? Right? Simple concept of materialism, consumerism. This person with this economy can buy more stuffs. Yeah. this person with this economy in which he can buy less stuff. So normal social status, okay, is determined. If you have more, you are valued more because you are rich. You have less, you are valued less because you are poor. So if you have, okay, if you have the ability to buy, or basically contemporary concept, purchasing power. If you have a higher purchasing power, right, which means you will be rich. How would you show that? Okay, you will, right. It is not true for contemporary times or even at that point of time, right. Just because you wear flashy clothes doesn't mean you're rich, right. That's a different aspect. But here which is trying to tell is the purchasing power, okay, is higher in this case. So the rich people, okay, spent it on silk, okay, that wear good amount of ornaments. Now this, whatever I'm telling, this applies for both men as well as women. Allowed to have a lavish lifestyle, dress up in silk robes, silk garments, okay, have good amount of ornaments, okay. Pearls, for example, pearls was almost the main trade of your Pandyas. We've spoken about in the political part of the video about how pearls became important, right. We'll further discuss down in this video too. So basically precious stones, ornaments, okay, they would get dressed in that, okay. They would use good fragrance, right, or fragrance creating, okay, herbs, flowers, alright, those things, the houses they lived in, okay. All this distinguished the rich from the poor. The poor would wear somewhere around your cotton clothes, okay. Now this was a distinction. Now in the rich also, especially when it comes to kings and nobility, they were even higher, okay. Their clothes were filled with ornaments. That is, their clothes had ornaments on them. Okay, it's not that they just wore ornaments and lavish clothing, but the lavish clothing had already, okay, ornaments in them, okay. So indicates the Pandyan kingdom at that point of time was pretty wealthy, alright. Not just the Pandyan, okay, king, but also the Pandyan kingdom. Generally it was a wealthy and prosperous state, alright. As we have seen, decorating jewels, ornament, kings, nobles wore costly ornaments, pearls, corals, precious stones. We have seen the entire Silpadikaram based on that. Social inequality was there, right. We do see social inequality. Next, how was the status of women during the Pandyan time? See, again, we will again dial back to the same thing, your Silpadikaram, right, where the position of women, okay, where she could come out, your Kannagi, she could come out to the court in front of everyone. She could tell how the king had committed a mistake, how he had delivered a justice which was so unjust in nature, where he did not, okay, further inquire it, okay, with just minimal facts what he had, he executed or removed a life. A woman in the court, okay, could stand that and argue that. And it is also said that she cursed him, okay. Basically, let's not get into the curse parts, but it is that the women were on almost equal par with men. Women were also given education, okay. This doesn't mean that there was, okay, flourishing amount of prosperity, wealth, ownership, education given for women, but see, again, everything came with constraints. Alright, they were given, but you cannot tell that entire society enjoyed that at large scale, right. For example, high caste women, okay, or higher income families enjoyed certain privileges compared to the lower income families, right. Those things are also there, but in general, if you look at it, women's position was rather fair, okay, not very good, but rather somewhere at fair levels compared to man, alright. Now, we have seen instances where, okay, like the Megasthenes ka Indica, we have seen that there are instances of a women being the ruler. A matriarchal society also was observed, alright. Now, women generally on par with men, they could offer prayers, sacrifices, they could sit with them, right, all those things. Public functions, they were allowed to possess property, right. Again, this does not apply to entirety of the population, but certain women, alright. Next, they had the opportunity to educate themselves. Now when it comes to education, see, one thing was your Pandyans, right, they were, okay, they were having a good amount of zeal to promote education, Okay, see, in one of the cases in your administrative part of the video on Pandya's webdate, we have discussed there the lands were given to the Brahmins for the sake of promoting education. Okay, where they would create something called as salai, okay, or schools where they would impart education. Right, now this education could be availed by women too. Also, for example, in temples they would hire singers, okay, or vocalists to spread the details about bhakti movement. That is one more thing. Your Pandyans were more associated with bhakti movement, right? All the secular elements or religious elements, they would try to impart the education or awareness through these mediums, theatres, plays, right, so that people would be aware of what is going on. Okay, no particular gender, sex, race or caste was shunned from receiving any of these. Right, again there are exceptions we see here and there, but still at a large they were able to receive good amount of education. For example, Andal, a Vaishnavite alvar, okay, was during this period of your Pandyas. Okay, Vaishnavite alvar, Andal. Alright. Now the married women generally, okay, their roles or chores was somewhere to, primarily it was looking after the house, raising the children, etc. There is also instances where women took part in agricultural activities, right? Along with that they used to practice knitting, right? So basically an additional income, they would try to do pot making, right? So an additional form of income would be brought into the family, right? So they were not totally dependent, right? There was a sense of independence seen to an extent. Again, this is not to a large extent, this does not apply to every single section, but to a fair extent they were independent and the position of women was comparatively better. Alright, spinning, pot making, painting, as we discussed, raised their family income, yes, helped in agricultural activity. Their leisure was mostly like dice, chess, etc. Yeah, this was the position of women with respect to Pandyan kingdom. Alright. Next, what was the social practices like? For example, we said Sangam literature speaks about Pandyas being wealthy and prosperous, not just Pandyan kings but Pandyas, that is the subordinate chiefs, people, nobles, rich nobility, all of them were pretty much wealthy and prosperous. We also have seen that the Pandyans were having large amount of trade with the Southeast Asia, Central Asia, Roman Empire. Okay, they benefited from that. One such thing that, for example, your pearls, precious stones, all these elephants, the one we discussed, there was also a point of elephants where the trade of elephants, horses, spices, jewelry, okay, clothing, all these were more in demand elsewhere from the Pandyan kingdom. Okay, the region that was controlled by Pandyas. Alright, sent embassies to Roman Emperor Augustus. Yeah, Vedic sacrifices, Brahmanical orthodoxy. So basically Vedic sacrifices were also seen. Your Brahmins also enjoyed considerable amount of influence in the society. Okay, so more of tolerance was also seen in the society to an extent. Okay. Next, how was the trade? Like we discussed, the trade was with Southeast Asia, Central Asia, Roman Empire. Okay. Now, it was there during the time of, so basically the trade, okay, continued irrespective of any political vacuum that was created, be it in Central Asia or Middle East or with the Roman Empire. The trade or contact with Roman Empire, okay, or the other regions with the Pandyan kingdom always was maintained. Understood? One more important is pearl fisheries. Basically, pearls extremely important, associated with Pandyas. Again, the other thing is with fisheries or coastal, nothing but their geographical region having an added advantage to your Pandyas. Okay, this is their trade route with Southeast Asia along with your Middle East. Alright, Central Asia. Next, this is the coin, okay, of your Pandyan kingdom. Okay. Next, one thing with respect to pearls, okay, is that everywhere there was huge demand for pearls from the Pandyan kingdom. Sometimes they would weigh, okay, they would weigh other pearls and see the purity of that pearl by comparing it with the Pandyan pearl. Okay, that was the amount of demand on pearls. the world had, okay, with respect to Pandyan kingdom. So pearls played a huge role. Alright. Next, this is the pottery discovered in your largest and busiest port town of Korikai of your Madurai, or basically Pandyans. Alright. Now, how was the society in general? Let's have a look. The royal palaces were called as Tirumaligai or Manaparanam Tirumaligai. Manaparanam Tirumaligai. Okay. There was seen a trade of horses was seen, commodities of spices, pearls, precious stones, elephants, birds. Yeah, these are all okay, matter of interest with respect to trade. Commodities of trade. Alright. The busiest port town was, okay, Kayalpattinam, which is in present day Thoothukudi of Tamil Nadu. Right. The literacy was promoted actively. People were very zealous about promoting this. Right. Singers were appointed, as we have discussed, okay, bhakti hymns, or basically to spread awareness. Alright. They were hired in, the singers were hired to sing in temples. Alright. Now we see how they are linking with temples, how temples, even though a religious structure, were used for secular purposes also. Alright. Now the religion, right, largely the religion of Pandyas or Pandyan kings, mostly initially it was Jainism, right. We can see that with respect to, okay, the amount of Jaina rock cut temples they have, and then later some were shifted towards your Shaivism or Hinduism. Alright. Next, the medieval Pandyas and later Pandyas, they repaired large amount of temples, whereas your early Pandyas, okay, just for segregation level, they built a lot of your rock cut architectures and temples. There are, okay, we do see patronage for Vedic practices, and Brahmins did enjoy considerable amount of influence in the society. That is also seen. Shaivism and Vaishnavism both were practiced, which means there was a tolerance. Generally, Shaivism and Vaishnavism, okay, typically have had that conflict, but here we can see a sense of tolerance. Alright. Pandyas from society and economic perspective. If you do like our content, subscribe to our channel, share it along with your friends, and give us a thumbs up button. Thank you.